Happy spring equinox. Hallelujah. Moving towards summer. Doesn't that feel nice? Very grateful for that. Okay, so this conversation has been coming up a whole bunch. I've just been hearing the patterns and colleagues in the magic mind we had earlier this week around typical numbers being lower than normal, people not spending as much. What do we do as creators, as coaches? How do we pivot? How do we get creative? I mean, I can say I've had so many pivots where I've had to shift my business model, my pricing strategy, come up with offers. I mean, I've just kind of navigated the ups and downs and thralls of entrepreneurship by just intuitively trying things as they come up. And so I spent some time yesterday and this morning, and I came up with a list of 15 different uh, ethical strategies to grow your business in challenging times. When people are not spending as much, how do you position yourself? How do you pivot potential business models, etc.? So I came up with this list. This is not going to be relevant for everybody. My hopes is that you walk away with one nugget here out of these 15 that is like a low-hanging, easy to do experiment that you could try if it applies to you, and then you can go from there. So I'll take probably 5 or 10 minutes to go through the list. Just make note of which ones resonate or stand out to you, and then we can hop into a discussion and see if anything, if you want to strategize any of these deeper for your own work. So number one, offer high value free content. So this is just the forever thing that we as creators and educators do, is to constantly innovate, tell stories, bring value and inspiration to people. So it's easy when we might be struggling with money or people coming in to let the newsletter go or to like slow down on our podcast. But I just want to remind us that like that connection with our people is really, really important. So you do want to keep these high value pieces, and uh, maybe you have some really amazing resources that are sitting on a virtual shelf collecting dust that you want to pull out and offer people as a gift or as a part of your newsletter, as a way for people to like really, aside from the regular newsletter, to experience uh, some of the magic that you have behind the paywalls. And so that is just one of the strategies. Um, I'm not a huge fan of this, but it can work. Sliding scale, that if, let's just say you have a workshop and the workshop is a $200 price tag, you could introduce a sliding scale where people can choose a 50, 100, 150, $200 price tag, and they can choose their own price. And at the end of the workshop, you can invite them, if you got more value than what you paid for, here's a PayPal donation link. You can make an extra financial contribution towards this. And at least by going with the sliding scale, at least you're getting people in the door rather than just people not coming. So that is one that you could experiment with as well. And there's a great resource on my YouTube just on this. We had Mark Silver from Heart of Business. We did an interview last year about his um, pay what you can model, and he had a beautiful way sh- of of describing to people the way to choose their pricing and how to set up the shopping cart. It was a great one. I can include that in the show notes if anybody wants to check that one if you're curious about the sliding scale pricing. Next is turn your offerings into a membership. So bundle all the stuff together, do a subscription that is a lower cost than, say, it's $500 for this. It could be a monthly fee that people pay and they get access to everything, including some live coaching calls, past trainings, etc. Bundling together, making a subscription can make it more affordable to people. Next is, instead, if you're used to selling bigger, higher ticket items, you may want to experiment with smaller, half day to day long workshops that are just a lot more accessible for people to dive in, get some value, and at the end of that, they might realize how amazing that investment was and invest in one of the bigger packages. So trying like micro workshops, which is something I've been experimenting with the last 2 or 3 years. And I've been enjoying that format because it's pretty easy to make a landing page once you have a template. You can experiment with an idea and then you can test your audience to see what topics they're really interested in. Next is if you have a library or a training that you typically do live, you could turn it into a do-it-yourself version that's at a lower cost than the typical live version. You can, turn one of your, if you have an annual live training, you could turn it into more of an evergreen thing that is significantly reduced in pricing because you're not needing to be there. Number 6, bundle your offers and create value stacks. So if you have a bunch of trainings that are all kind of aligned for a really specific topic or uh, purpose. So right here, like the survive and thrive. Everybody's stressed right now. If you have a series of trainings that would help people thrive more during these times, you could bundle those together as a discounted price, 30, 40, 50% off if they buy them all together. And if it's say $1,000 for all these, if you buy them individually, you get the stack for $500, and then it makes it more exciting for people to want to jump in, and it gives them a really clear purpose on like what going through these trainings would do. Uh, limited time discounts or payment plans. So, like Cynthia, I know we talked about doing the economic hardships discount, 30% off all courses for, the next 30 days. That can just offer some people some incentive to want to get in right now. It's like they've been wanting to do it. Here's the 30-day window. On this note, I didn't include this in the notes, but it's popping into my head right now is if you have a training coming up in a month or 2 months, you could do like an early bird offer. So like Tad and I with the Craft Into Your Signature Workshop, I just updated the page and it is now live and we're doing a rolling early bird. So the price this year for that training is going to be $14.95. People can now sign up at $7.95 and the price goes up $100 every single month. So at the end of every month right now, while we're leading up to that, the price goes up. So we have this little call to action every month. And last year, that early bird, rolling early bird generated at least $10,000 to $12,000 a month as we geared up the 5 or 6 months leading up to the training actually launching. And so the rolling early bird is a great way to get people signing on to programs that are happening later in the year to commit now at a cheaper rate until it gets to the full price. So this is another one. Obviously being transparent. So talking about the struggles and the changes, and you could even, if you're doing any one of these experiments, you can let people know that you're, responding to what you're noticing in the field with people that they're not buying or that everybody is concerned about what's happening right now, so you're creating these solutions that they uh, would be able to have what you offer at a more affordable price. So just being transparent, relatable, be real. Collaborations and cross pollination. So y'all know this is my jam. um Finding people that you can work with. So, who are some of the friends that you have that you could collaborate on something with? Who do you know that you could do a workshop similar to like what Tad and I did? It doesn't have to be like a 3.5 month thing like what we did. Maybe you create like a weekend workshop experience or something, and then you share in the revenue, share in the promotion, you share in the teachings. That's always a beautiful way to generate new revenue and tap into new audiences is to partner up with somebody on an offering. Focus on local. Um, my guess is that your services, everything that you're doing, could really benefit your local community. And instead of all this looking outside of ourselves, looking for this global impact, we can make a huge difference where we are and we can make money where we are. So you could reach out to local businesses, local spaces, local hubs, and see if there's any partnerships that are available. I do this every year, beginning of the year, do scholarships. So you could offer a three-tiered scholarship program that people apply. So they fill out a form. Um, so what we did earlier this year was offered, it was a little more than $25,000 for the year in scholarships, and people could select, the regular price is 500 a month. They could do 75% off, 50% off, 25% off. Um, the payment with a commitment to be in the Magic Mind for the entire year. And then you let them know, like what I did is everybody knows that whatever tier they go, if they choose the 25% off versus the 50 or 75%, then that takes away from the pool for other people. So the encouragement is for people to really um to stretch what they're able to pay so that other more people can access the scholarships. And that was really great. So this is another one that you could do. You could set up a Google form, just be like, hey everybody, I know times are hard. I'm offering the scholarship program. Uh, we're building a teacher training for Sing to Thrive right now, one of our partners. And they did a scholarship program, and they did the regular price, I want to say, is $4,000. And I think they have 7 scholarships so far that are at 2,500, which is like that's some great extra revenue for people that definitely would not have signed up if it was at the regular price. So scholarships are a really great way to do it. And also it's a nice way to honor the work that you're doing without feeling like you're devaluing it. Uh, Low group experiences. So running a group coaching program, if your bread and butter has been one-to-one coaching and that seems to be dried up, you could reach out to all the people that you've worked with and all the people you know have been interested and be like, hey, I'm doing a group program. My rates are usually $1,000 for this package. And if you join this group, if I get 6 people, it's 400 each or 500 each. So that's another interesting way you can make some revenue. Referral incentives. This was something Tad and I brainstormed for both of our communities. So, for example, a referral incentive with the Magic Mind that has been rolling around in the back of my head, but haven't done anything with is uh, if you invited somebody new to the Magic Mind, I would give them 50% off their first month, and I would give you 50% commission on their first month. So I would make $0 on the first month that they join. They would get a discount to come try out the Magic Mind for their first month. You would get the rest of that money that's available, the $250, and then after the first month, I would collect the revenue. And so that would be like a referral incentive that would incentivize you to spread the word. It would also incentivize the people within your network who are interested about joining this community to sign up because they get 50% off their first month to come check it out, and that would include a coaching call. And then I have to basically prove myself that for the months afterwards to collect my money. So you could personalize offers. So this is what I used to do with my meditation library when I was doing more lifestyle design coaching, and I had my meditation library. I would sign people on, and I would design a custom coaching package with them based on what their intentions are. And every few days, I would give them a new audio meditation that they would do. We would have a weekly coaching call, and I would just adapt it based on what they were needing and what tracks I had available to them. Uh, so you could customize a coaching experience by leveraging some of the assets you already have. That's like, okay, we're doing a coaching session. I'm going to give you these programs, these trainings. You're going to go through those, then we'll do your next coaching session. It's a way to leverage your work and also provide some more affordable coaching. Re-engaging past clients. So reaching out to folks that you've already worked with who are probably the most likely to buy and checking in with them and seeing if, how they're doing, where their progress is at, and if they need any more support. And then the last one is looking through your contacts. I mean, this has been one of my practices for the last couple months since we originally did that in the Magic Mind, and I'm still just going through my contacts and following up and checking in with people that I haven't talked to in a while. I went to South by Southwest, and I'm still going through all the contacts that I made down there to follow up, set up calls, see Who wants to continue the relationship? Chances are within your Rolodex of email contacts and phone contacts, you probably have a bunch of connections that, if you just nurture them, they may become partners, they may send referrals, they may end up hiring you for your work. So here's 16 strategies, real quick, off the cuff. I'll post these later on so that you can go back through and get inspired about even just one of these strategies that you may want to do or try, that won't take a lot of extra work, but could end up making a difference and generating some immediate revenue with those people who may not necessarily, they might be just holding their money closer to them right now to watch and see what happens in the world. And I think the other piece is just remembering that, economic hardships happen. If we look back over the course of our lives, money spikes, money drops. This is just a pattern. It will end. And we just have to be patient and creative as we're navigating through uncertain times like the ones we're in right now. And I think the biggest thing is remembering that we're more mighty and powerful together. So leaning into relationships is ultimately the way we want to go. Um, and being flexible as creative inspiration comes up. If you really feel something pulling you to try an idea out, the way that I've always done it is announce it as an experiment of like, hey, I had this idea. Here was the intention behind the idea. I'm gonna try this experiment for 30 days. And if these things check off on the list of like if it works good, if the engagement's good, if we get enough people, whatever your check marks are, and announce it as an experiment at the end of the 30 days, you tell your audience if the experiment was successful or not. I mean, I did that years ago because I kept having this idea about a freemium model of like everybody gets access to the best trainings, the courses for free. And then if they wanted to, and then, the idea was we would sell more high-end programs, we get more engagement, blah, blah, blah. It failed miserably. We did 6 months, and on the very day, I was like, this is a 6 month experiment. And on that day of like 6 months, it was like, this is done. Anybody not paying us out. This was like a terrible failure. Engagement went lower, even though we had like 2,500 or 3,000 people in the community space, like the previous version of the Magic Mind. The engagement was way worse. It was so much more work. People weren't ended up hiring us for our like big coaching programs, and this was before we did partnerships. And so I was like, I did a 3,000 word essay on why the experiment failed and why I'm grateful that we did it, because it was in the back of my mind for like 2 years before, and I was finally like, okay, I have to do this. And then I knew freemium is just not my model. I didn't like it. So, sometimes we just have to try these experiments. And, the first ever Magic Media partnership we did, it was an experiment. Um, she couldn't afford what we had. And we ended up, that first one, we did like a $400,000 launch with her. It blew her mind, it blew our minds. And I was like, partnerships are the way to go for us. That was a good experiment. Let's do this again. So, those are some strategies. I hope that offers a little bit of creative inspiration and some solutions. And, even just choose one and try it and see where it goes.